Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. So in today's session we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is we are going to discuss about the consumption function. Okay, and this is a very important topic of economics syllabus for the SEBI Grade A 2022. And this is also very important for understanding the Keynesian theory in the later on lectures. Okay, so now before starting with the session, there is a big announcement from EduTap that we are providing for the SEBI Grade A 2022 Legal Officer Practice 5000 plus MCQs, and that also chapter wise. And you can get free 500 plus MCQs, and to know more about this offer, you can check out the description box below. So now starting with the consumption function. See, consumption is dependent on the income. It is a function of the income, and especially the disposable income here we are talking about. That is the income that the country has earned. Out of that you are taking out the taxes. That is the disposable income, because the disposable income is the income that you can actually consume from. So the consumption here is the dependent variable, and the income here is the disposable income here is the independent variable. That is, the consumption is dependent on the income. If you want to write it in an equation, in a mathematical proper equation, then consumption is dependent on the income, and this is the slope and this is the intercept. Okay, in economics term, intercept here is the autonomous consumption and slope here is the MPC. That is, if the income is changing by 1 rupees, how much the consumption is getting affected. Okay, how much the change in the consumption is coming due to the change in the income. This is the slope MPC, marginal propensity to consume. That if income is changing by something, how much change is coming in the consumption. And autonomous consumption tells us that if your income becomes zero and this whole thing becomes zero, then there is still some consumption for the survival of yours. Okay, that is the autonomous consumption, that even if the income level is nothing, even if the income level is zero, and you are still consuming something for your survival. So autonomous consumption is not dependent on the income, and this is what we call the induced consumption. Induced consumption depends on the income level, induced consumption depends on the income, and autonomous consumption does not depend on the income. This you can better understand with this diagram, that consumer spending is on the y-axis and the real disposable income is on the x-axis. If your income is zero, still you are consuming something for your survival, and that is the autonomous consumption. This is the curve, the consumption curve. Here you can see the consumption, autonomous consumption is there, then your income is there. If your income is changing, then your consumption is also changing. Okay, so that is what is shown by this by. Okay, that if your income is changing, how much the consumption is changing, this is shown by the slope b. And this is what we call the induced consumption. This is the autonomous consumption A, and this is the induced consumption, that is changing with the change in the income level. So I hope you have understood the autonomous consumption, that does not depend on the level of the income, and the induced consumption is dependent on the income, and B here is the slope. Okay, that tells us that how much the consumption is changing with the change in the income. So now we can move to the C. Now here let me tell you one more concept, that your consumption is this and your income is a 45-degree line, and this is your income in the country, this is the consumption. Now when you see here, the consumption is more than the income. When the consumption is more than the income, that is you are dissaving something, that is your saving is getting negative, that is you are consuming from your past savings. When your income is equal to the consumption, that is your saving must be zero, that is saving is equal to 0. And when your income is greater than consumption, that means you are saving something, you are saving the left out amount, so your saving is positive. When you are dissaving, your saving is negative. So here, from this is the autonomous consumption, from here the saving is negative, but it becomes 0 when your income is equal to consumption, and when your income is greater than consumption, your saving is increasing, your saving has become positive. Here it was negative when you were dissaving, it was equal to 0, and then it has become positive. So this is the relationship between the income, consumption and the saving. So here you can see, when your income is 0, still you are consuming something and you are dissaving, that you have done some past saving, from that you are taking out the money to consume. When your income is increasing, again still you are consuming, your dissaving is becoming less. then when your income and consumption are equal, you are saving 0, and when your income is further on increasing, you are saving more and your saving has become positive. See, now we will understand about the APC and MPC. I hope you have understood about the autonomous consumption and the induced consumption. Autonomous consumption means when you are consuming without the income. That is, even if you have no income, then also you are consuming something. That is independent from the level of the income, your autonomous consumption. While induced consumption depends on the level of the income. Okay. APC and MPC, now we will understand. See, MPC we have already seen that it is the change in the consumption that is coming from change in income. That if your income was 100 and your consumption was 80, then your income has increased to 110, your consumption has increased to 85. So this is the change in the consumption, that 5 rupees. And this is the change in the income, that due to this 10 rupees change, there is a 5 rupees change in the consumption. So that is 0.5. The MPC tells us that the change in the income has brought this much change in the consumption. Now APC, this tells us the absolute consumption that we are doing from the absolute income, that your income is 100 and from that you are consuming 80, that is 0.8. That is per unit of the income you are consuming, from that per unit you are consuming 0.8. And APC you can get from each and every point in the curve. But for MPC you need 2 points because you need to see the change. So for MPC you need 2 points, and for APC you can get it from each and every point in the curve. Okay, this we can see from here also, that APC, here C upon Y you can take from each and every point, you are taking the APC. Okay, but for MPC you need to see the difference, or you need to see the change, and APC is always greater than the MPC. And the MPC lies between the 0 and 1 range. It can never go above 1. Okay, MPC can never go above 1. Okay, APC can be greater than 1. MPC usually lies in the range of 0 to 1, and it is very rare. It will be a very extreme condition that it is going above 1. APC, it can go above 1. Here as you can see that it is infinity, then it is 1.25, 1. Okay, so it can, APC can be greater than 1 also. So this is the relationship between the APC and the MPC, and I hope you have understood that MPC is the slope of the consumption curve. So this was all for today. I hope you have understood the basic points, and these are very important points, that APC is greater than MPC, MPC lies in this range, and APC is greater than 1. APC can be greater than 1. So thank you very much, and if you have any query you can mail us here, or you can contact us through this number. Thank you.